Welcome to the podcast. You heard it here eventually. Part 2, The Masses, as we called you last time.
Yeah,
I'm
the
Vince.
endless sea of masses. And I'm Chris, aka Dragon Rider Jack.
Hell yeah. So yeah, part 2. We haven't uploaded part 1 yet. We don't really know what's going on with this thing, but here we are.
Yeah, we
back.
haven't. I guess what are we gonna do weekly? We're gonna try for weekly.
I think weekly is a good goal, especially
I mean,
if there's no
we converse
editing
daily.
needed. Yeah.
Yeah, and we converse daily.
Yeah.
So we won't run out of topics.
So yeah, what are we talking about today?
Well, I mean, there was some gaming news,
Big game,
which we both know. Which we
Big.
well, bigger for you.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Obviously, the Keyblade.
way
Very
in
tiny.
the back, hidden behind pillows. There it is, the hilt of the Keyblade. So yeah, why don't we can just get right into that one then?
Yeah. So Kingdom Hearts 4 has been announced. Also, like, I think one of the mobile games is getting more content, and then there's a new mobile game, but I don't really care about that. Kingdom Hearts 4 has been announced. Very excited.
Kingdom Hearts is a good series for sure. I mean, it's more your series, one of your favorites. I was there. I got there super late. I mean, I just started playing it like 2 years ago, and I only did,
did
one
2.
recom and then 2.
Yeah.
Or were there 2 in between 1 and 2?
They're supposed to be,
right?
but you didn't play them because the cutscenes. Or you watched the cutscenes, I think.
But yeah. The one where you're Roxas.
Yeah.
You're Roxas, yeah.
But yeah, so I guess big lore implications for Kingdom Hearts with this. Like, Sora's like dead.
I did watch the trailer, and I haven't played 3 or any of the ones past 2.
He doesn't care about spoilers, so I guess we could talk about it a little bit. But like, basically, TLDR into 3, everyone in the Kingdom Hearts universe thinks Sora's dead, and he gets transported to this new world that looks like our modern day world. And supposedly, I guess in the trailer, the girl who is also in one of the mobile games, I think, so she's not new, but she's new to like main story.
I was wondering who that was.
Yeah, she says
I've never seen her.
The afterlife. So I guess
it's for them.
Yeah.
She said it's a world teeming with life, but for them, people like them, it can be considered the afterlife, and then the Omega Heartless spawns. Out the window.
And then we see at the end of the trailer Donald and Goofy talking to Hades. So I guess that makes sense. I didn't know the voice actor.
Hades? You knew that was Hades?
I was told
because the voice actor.
Well, no, I don't know the voice actor. Someone in my Discord told me that it was Hades, and I guess Blue Flame to Red Flame makes sense. God of the Underworld, deals with death all the time.
I was gonna ask you like who the hell that is.
At first, I thought it was Axel, but then I was like, the Blue Flame doesn't make sense.
Yeah, unless they changed him.
Yeah.
In like a mobile game or something. They're like, all right, let's make it canon.
And then a new thing that I just learned today that I haven't even told you about. Supposedly, people think that this trailer showed a Star Wars world. Very, very hidden in the background. There was one like jungle area in the trailer, and in the background you can literally see, and I've seen the leg of an ATST side by side with what was in the trailer. It's the leg. It looks like Endor, like straight up.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be too surprising if that was the case, right? Like, I mean, all Disney. I mean, I know that when they were doing 3, the head dev was like, we can't do everything Disney. Like, there are business implications and stuff. So like, they bought LucasArts. Can we put Star Wars in? Like, that was like the first phone call they made, and they were told no, not for this one or something like that.
And then you got Marvel 2 now, potentially. That'd be really cool. I think that'd be too big for one game, but I would like to see Marvel in a future Kingdom Hearts game. And I would love both of them in this one. I just think it's too much for one game.
Yeah, I mean, and they also have all the Fox stuff. So I mean,
true, yeah.
They can throw in like Family Guy if they want to and stuff.
You get a Peter Griffin Sora, a Keyblade.
Could you imagine a Simpsons version of Sora?
Hit and Run.
I'm not a huge fan of Simpsons, but yeah, I do like I think that having a character thrown into the world the way that Sora adopts the world's like aesthetic and costume, I just imagine him yellow, like totally yellow
Mm-hmm.
face, and like his hair is like just like 3 spikes or whatever, like just yellow spikes
Mm-hmm.
instead, like Bart and Lisa and stuff.
Yeah, I think one thing I really like about the trailer so far is his design. I think it looks much better. He has normal
He
sized
does
feet
look cool.
finally. He doesn't have the
I know.
Kingdom Hearts 1 feet.
I that was the thing that stood out the most to me in the trailer is they showed his bare feet.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, it's normal size. Does that mean that his shoes have been padded this whole time? Like just like he's wearing platforms like this high, like 6 inches high, and they're like
Yeah,
they're
he has his
extended out
implants.
with the steel toes that are like a foot long extra. It
Yeah.
was crazy to see his feet like normal looking.
I think in terms of Kingdom Hearts 3, I know you haven't played it, but one of my problems with it that I hope we can correct this time around was I didn't like the advertisement for it. Before the game came out, we knew every single world that was in the game. And
Mm.
like I think that was dumb. Like we knew Arendelle or whatever that place is called. We knew Monsters Inc.
For
We
Frozen,
knew
yeah.
Tangled. Literally everything was in every trailer. So I guess if you avoid trailers, it's a surprise, but I don't. Um
Dude, I can't imagine that level of dedication of avoiding spoilers. I had a
yeah.
friend who there was a commercial for Spider-Man No Way Home,
Hmm.
and it was 3 weeks after.
This just came in the mail. Great.
Nice, there you go. It was 3 weeks. Oh, and for anyone that's just listening, there
Oh
was
yeah,
No Way Home
sorry.
Blu-ray.
I forgot this is an
um,
audio podcast.
um, what was I said? Three. Oh, it was 3 weeks after No Way Home came out. A trailer came on or whatever, and he turned off the TV. I was like, "Are you serious? If you care that much about it, then go see it right away. That's
Hmm.
insane. That's insane dedication to avoid
One
all
of
of it.
my
I mean, what do you do if you're at a bar or just
yeah.
out at a restaurant and the trailer plays? Like you go like this
Yeah. One of
until
my
the
friends
very
literally
end,
during Batman was
cover
like,
your
"I'm
eyes.
so mad they played Doctor Strange too trailer." Like,
What?
I don't
What
know
did you
why.
expect?
Yeah.
Oh, because he thought DC Marvel
Well,
wouldn't
not
be
even
on
that.
DC
He
or
just
whatever.
like he was just avoiding the trailer in general, but like I think he was also mad about the post credits of Spider-Man being a Doctor Strange trailer. He's like, "I want to
Yeah,
avoid the trailers."
that was like basically a full ass trailer too.
Yeah.
Like that was crazy.
Um I guess we can tie this up with Kingdom Hearts and do Dream Worlds for 4. I think
Dream Worlds.
my if I had to choose 3, I guess we can do 3 because that's all I got in my head right now.
Are these
Number
rule would be they haven't been in a previous game. I won't know
yeah,
for a fact that they haven't been,
I'll
but
tell
you're
you.
saying
Yeah,
haven't been
I'll
in.
tell you
Okay.
if they were. So my and this is in order of preference. 1, I would love a Marvel world. 2, I would love Star Wars, and then 3, Moana. I'm a big Moana guy.
Yeah, you know what? I was gonna say Moana too. And I mean, I would go more specific in the Marvel, I guess, and say which characters world I want. I mean, you would expect like Earth, right? They would
Yeah.
have all of them. But I would actually prefer if they did one of the non-Earth ones, since he
Oh,
starts in a place that looks like Earth.
maybe like
I was
Xandar.
thinking Asgard.
Asgard, that'd
Yeah,
be cool.
Asgard or even Guardians. Like he's on their ship
Yeah, I don't even know
and
what
they
that place is
go.
called, but I think that's what it is. What's that
Imagine
place?
they use that for the gummy ship. Imagine
Oh,
they use
that'd be
that. He
really
like teams up
cool.
with the Guardians
Yeah.
like for more of the game. What place called? Oh, Nowhere. You
No, the
thinking?
place that they in Guardians 1 where the Nova Corps from. Is that Xandar? I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, that's Xandar.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
where Nova's
yeah.
from, and he's never been in a game. He's like referenced in the Guardians game, but he hasn't been in
Mm.
an actual game, so that'd be cool.
Yeah, I mean, it could even be if they wanted to go to a place we haven't seen much, the Miss Marvel or the
True.
Captain Marvel one, the
Yeah.
Kree
Mm-hmm.
homeworld or whatever. But yeah, so I would say more specifically than just Marvel, I would go with I want one of the non-Earth ones, and then they can do like Earth, like with all of the Avengers and stuff, like at some point in the
Yeah,
future.
that'd be really cool.
I'm trying to think what else, like for Disney.
I guess Star Wars.
Uh,
If I'm
I
getting more
mean,
specific, while you think, I would like to
yeah.
see Death Star for Star Wars. Like you just
Ooh,
use
Death
on a
Star
Death
would be
Star.
cool. Death Star would be cool, yeah.
Potentially, I would assume more so from Episode 6 as opposed to 4, because with
Yeah,
4
you're
you don't
thinking
really
that you
go
can
in
also
it.
go down to Endor.
Yeah,
You think you can also go
and
down
you
to
can like
Endor? You
maybe
have the
like
big
fight the
trees and stuff.
Emperor. That'd be cool.
It'd be cool to see like the Ewoks and stuff,
Mhm.
you know. Star Wars would probably be mine too then, but I'm trying to think because then we have basically the same ones. What other Disney property would it possibly be? I mean, maybe like they did like a Pixar world as a whole or no?
No, they did like specifics. I think.
Then it'd be really cool if they did some whatever wherever Buzz Lightyear is, but then it's another space-ish
Yeah.
one.
Well,
But
we
the
have
new Lightyear movie looks cool, so
we
I would
did
say
have
like do
a Toy
Lightyear.
Story in Kingdom Hearts 3, and there was a space mini game in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you go
Hmm.
to the mall or something with the toys.
I'm trying to think what other Pixar one because it would probably be Pixar. I mean, they could do like Onward was pretty cool, and it's a
I
world
yeah.
full of
Hmm.
magic,
Yeah.
so I could see that one. Because not only is it a world full of magic, it's like literally magical. All the magical beings have
Hmm.
like anthropomorphized into just humans,
Yeah.
basically, like Monsters Inc. kind of thing. So it'd be like Monsters Inc. Could be version 2.0
Hmm.
with magic instead of screams and laughter.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll go with that one. I'll lock that one in
All right.
as my dream worlds. But
Hell
Star
yeah.
Wars would be an honorary mention because obviously Star Wars. But I
Yeah.
mean, I think it's almost a given that they're gonna have something with
Hmm.
Star Wars at
Yeah.
this point.
That'd
It's
be
been
sick.
years since they owned it now, or Disney owned it.
Yeah. And I think if it is in it and we are on Endor, that's an awesome little Easter egg for people to notice. Because the first I've watched the trailer like probably 5 times, and until I saw the Reddit post, I didn't see the ATST leg at all.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it one time. I will say this too, but before I don't want to really close up on it. The gameplay looks pretty damn cool, like
Yeah.
because it jumps into what we assume is gameplay for
Yeah,
the first
that was
fight.
very
The
surprising.
traversal of the world makes me think that there's gonna be verticality in it, like
Hmm.
way beyond anything before. The way you use like a grappling hook with your keychain,
Yeah.
so that would lead you to think like, yeah, you could have all these like really out there worlds. Because that was one of the things about 1 and 2 that I wasn't a huge fan of is just how linear everything is. Like there's just so much invisible walls in the game. But I mean,
Hmm.
it was PS2 era,
Yeah.
so PS2 games have invisible walls. But like literally, I'm looking and I can jump up to this part. I can jump over it and there's just like hitting air,
Yeah.
as I spin and my double jump and stuff as I fly as Sora. And I just hit a wall and was just face planting into invisible air and
Hmm.
stuff.
Yeah,
So as
three's
long
a
as
little bit
you
better with that,
can
but still
do
not. It's still Kingdom
well in
Hearts
three, you can
invisible
run
walls.
up,
Yeah.
right? You can run straight up like sheer cliffs and stuff. Yeah.
And that's what one of the new games is about. The last world's like called Scala Ad Kylum or something, and it's like this like old city, I think, that like no one lives in anymore. Um, and we see like that world like modernized, like or in the past, and people
Yeah.
are living there. So I might try that one out. The mobile games aren't like known for being great, but I guess they're canon, which is kind of frustrating as a fan.
Yeah. Well, our buddy Nick is a big fan too, and he actually does play the mobile games
Yeah.
like and just hates his life because of it, but he refuses not to play it.
Yeah.
So any new mobile game they announce, I'm sure he will be playing it, and he can give us the update, so you can live vicariously through him with
Yeah.
that one if you wanted to.
And it
I
looks like
just
more
thought of one
active,
more.
which is cool.
I thought of one more too. It'd be cool to see like a world of forgotten characters. Like imagine a world of like
Oh.
forgotten Disney characters.
Hmm.
How they had remember Oswald the rabbit was in like that Epic Mickey game.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
like Walt Disney's first ever character was
Hmm.
Oswald, and then he lost the rights to like NBC or something like
Yeah.
that because he worked there at the time, and he wanted it back, and they wouldn't give it to him, so he made Mickey, and then he like taunted them with his success,
Hmm.
and then like whatever, like 50 years later, Disney bought the rights back finally, so that they could put him in the stupid game. But I would love to see like a similar vein where like Disney goes back in the archives and things that they haven't reused over and over again, like in Wreck-It Ralph 2, how they had the Disney princesses and stuff, the ones that they didn't include there, the ones
Hmm.
that are like used way less often,
Yeah.
and then have like them in like their own version of the afterworld if Sora's in some afterworld.
Hmm.
And it's like just they're in like the land of the forgotten, which is
That'd be
kind of
pretty
like
cool. Yeah.
Inside Out with the imaginary characters and all the memories that die as you like forget them and stuff.
Hmm.
So that'd be also cool.
Yeah.
I want to mention that.
I'm just excited for a new arc, like this new villain. I know you haven't seen him because he's not really in anything, or yeah, I don't think he's in anything from what you've played. But Master of Masters, he seems really cool. Um,
I guess he took over like the organization or something because those were the organization cloaks
yeah, he
at
was
the
like
top
he
of the
was like
statue.
before everything. I think that's more like
Oh,
in the mobile game stuff. And
they're
they
bringing
have
him into the main
and well they have
thing.
so in because you played 1.5, which is one chain of memories, and then the scenes. Every game has two games and scenes. So in 2.8 you have Dream Drop Distance point 2, which is like a prologue to 3, and then scenes that are like HD of a mobile game. So like they fully made Kingdom Hearts scenes for that mobile game. and you see him in that one, and that's
Yeah,
like
all right.
way in the past.
Well, I'll get there eventually.
Yeah,
It's like it's on my. You have your Final Fantasy Gauntlet. I've been doing Kingdom Hearts. It's just
yeah,
took a back seat, but I finished Horizon, so
90
now
hours.
I got some openings. Yeah,
Yeah,
90 hours. Yeah, dude, it was a lot. I mean, I pause the game and do BRB screens from time to time, like when I was when I was messaging you in one of the more recent ones, and you were like, "Oh, you were streaming," and I was
oh,
like, "No, no, I have an emergency diarrhea
yeah,
situation here. I'm pooping right now. I can talk." Like, yeah, there's that, and like there was a random like hour BRB screen because like my food like showed up
hmm
late, but I wanted to start, and then I was like, yeah, F it. Like I played for 5 minutes, and I put a BRB screen up for an hour, and then came back. I was also kind of trying to show my one friend Fisher, Fisher Phoenix, that it doesn't matter if he does that. He had a kid recently, and he like refuses to go live on stream because he thinks like every 10 minutes he's gonna have to go take care of his
hmm
second, his daughter, his second kid.
hmm
And I was like, no one cares.
Yeah,
Like, just put the BRB screen up and come back. Like, it doesn't matter. Change your BRB screen to say BRB taking care of my newborn
yeah.
daughter, and
No
then
one's gonna care.
no one's gonna complain. Like, whatever. You can like people can skip through it in like your VOD or whatever.
Yeah,
So it was like almost like a statement to him, like almost a personal attack at him for me to do it and
yeah.
like not be phased by it.
I try not to, but like I'm not opposed to doing it. And if I do, I'll try to like click the pause button for YouTube VODs. But also, if I forget, I don't really care. I don't want to bother
Yeah, I
me too
don't have
much.
that. I don't have that in the Streamlabs one.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
In the Streamlabs, that they don't have the pause functionality. It's like, why not? But whatever.
It's so annoying. I don't know if Streamlabs OBS does this one, but on OBS, if your computer like shuts off or you lose, not if you lose internet, but if like you lose power or you blue screen, your entire recording's corrupted. It doesn't just like end it; it just corrupts the whole thing.
Oh,
And
I
that
don't know.
happens to me from time to time.
I haven't had it happen to me, luckily. So
I
I don't
lost
know if
power
it works like
recently,
that.
and it reminded me all over again.
Yeah, I don't think I've lost power in this place like only a handful of times. In my last apartment, I would just come home and all my clocks would be blinking. Like, I mean, it was almost a regular occurrence, not
That's
daily, but I
crazy.
mean, it was like at least like once a month the power went out, and I was always like, "What? What?" And like my alarm clock that I was using at the time could have batteries, but I never replaced them, so it would
Mm.
always turn off. So if in the middle of the night the power went out, I didn't have an alarm. So now I use an Alexa.
Oh, for an alarm.
So, yeah, just
I
for
just use
everything.
my
I have like
phone.
the clock dot. I would use my phone, but it doesn't wake me up. I'll like end up falling asleep on top of it. It gets muffled and
Oh,
stuff. So far, the Alexa works pretty well, but I can sleep through a lot of stuff. Once I get used to an alarm sound,
yeah.
um, I'm done.
That's the benefit of a queen bed. I sleep on this side. I'm a right side boy, away from the door, and then my phone lays on the other pillow,
Safe.
so I'm never I'm never at risk of falling on it.
So what he's saying is, whenever he eventually has a wife,
Hmm.
he's gonna sleep further away from the door so that
Yeah.
he's the one
Hmm.
that's being protected by
Yeah.
her.
Yeah. Exactly.
Goes against society. I love it. Goes
Hmm.
against societal norms. We need to break down these
That's what I'm
walls for
saying. And
sure.
listen, she got the keyblade right there. She can protect me.
What was that noise? Grab the keyblade, honey. Go get some heartless. Go kill some heartless down there. That
um.
that would be epic.
Yeah.
God, I hope that happens. Hell, I'll break into your house in the
just
future at
to
some point just
just to
so it does
recreate it.
happen.
Yeah.
I just start getting hit with a keyblade. I'm just like, it's me. It's me. What are you doing at my house? I just wanted to see you hit me with a keyblade.
That's the test. Um. But
But yeah,
yeah.
that is a pretty omega announcement.
Yeah.
That's a huge one. I thought they were done after 3, but I know you were saying like they left a cliffhanger
Yeah,
at the end
I
of it,
so one of my
basically.
friends
So
said the same thing. He was like, "Oh, there's some stresses between Disney and Square." And I never heard anything about that. Um, and he's like, "There's not going to be a 4." And he didn't play 3. I was like, "Play 3 and then tell me there's not going to be a 4 because how that ends, there's just no way."
I mean, the only stresses that could possibly happen is Disney launches its own game studio, which I think
Yeah.
they tried and then they didn't want to keep going with it.
Mhm.
Like, I'm not sure because I can't remember what Epic Mickey was. Was it like Disney Games or was it something else that they
Yeah,
licensed out?
it was something like that.
Yeah.
Real quick before we switch, I'm going to pause because my dog's freaking out and I need to bring her upstairs.
Okay.
And we're back. I don't know why she does
Yeah.
that. She's like
I don't know.
she's like
I don't know why you
senile.
even said it. when
Oh,
we cut it out, there's gonna be almost no lag time, so it's gonna be
yeah.
like, all right, I'm gonna pause 1 second, and we're back.
I don't know. She's like she does this thing now where she if she's downstairs alone for like she's been down for I don't know 30 minutes, she'll start barking. She like
Okay.
doesn't like to be alone. I think she's getting senile.
Maybe, but I mean, dogs are also very social creatures, so
Yeah, but
I
she's
mean,
never
you
been
might.
like that before. Like she could
I
be
mean,
down.
yeah, in full disclosure, like if I don't really care about the background noises,
Yeah,
my dogs are probably gonna be making noise as they play.
yeah.
Like whenever we get a chance to do this, it's gonna be during like playtime for the
Oh
dogs,
yeah.
probably.
I just do it because I'm sure like my mom would be like, "Shut her up." So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, so I don't care. Hopefully, no one else cares. But I mean, they're dogs, right? And
yeah.
one day you'll
What
get
are you
to
gonna do?
meet them and see them. We'll have like a huge meet and greet for our masses, our
Yeah.
legions of
Mhm.
fans, and we'll bring all of our animals,
Yeah.
and then they'll be the more famous of all of them. I can't. He's too much of a puppy right now to bring him over near my computer.
He'll just
Oh,
bite
I can't
everything.
like put him in my lap and hold him up. But one day, like 10 or 12 podcasts from now,
Oh yeah.
when he's fully grown and he definitely doesn't fit on my lap, I'll just hold him up so one of his paws is the size of my head. You can see just what I'm dealing with.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, so were we still talking about Kingdom Hearts or no? I don't think so,
Yeah, no,
right?
I think we
You were,
wrapped up on
oh
that.
yeah, what was if there was going to be like tension between Disney and
Oh yeah.
Square, but
I know.
unlikely,
I think the only thing
super
that makes me
unlikely.
nervous is that's another problem I had with 3 is that 3 took out every like external Final Fantasy character pretty much. I think maybe in the DLC there was like one, if that,
Yeah.
but like 2 and 1 had all these Final Fantasy characters and it was so cool and then 3 took them out. So,
Yeah, I wonder if that was maybe the stress people are talking about. Like Disney, like did some mandate, like, oh, you have to focus more on our characters for these
yeah.
games if you want to keep using them. It's like they're two of the characters are in the main party.
Mhm.
It's like 24/7. All of the party members are always Disney characters, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah.
Like unless you have like some special event where you have a son, but it's always like Donald and Goofy, or you can switch out one of those two to have the Disney World's character. So
Yeah.
like, which I never did. I never do in the games. I don't really.
Yeah.
I just use Donald and Goofy.
Sometimes I take out if I'm going to switch someone, it's usually Goofy even though 9 times out of 10 Donald doesn't heal me on the 1% chance or the 10% chance that he does. I like to have him in there.
Yeah. Well, he blows all the items and heals like right away.
Oh yeah, you have to give him no
He's
items. That's a
so
strat.
prematurely. Yeah, that was that. Like in the first game, I was like, "Oh, my items disappearing," and like you and Nick were like, "Well, you never give
Yeah.
items to the, you never give items to the computer." I was like, "Oh, really?"
And you can
And you
change the
guys were like, "No."
strats. You can be like, oh, only use items. It's almost like Tails, but like a less advanced version of it. How in Tails you can be like, use it at this
Yeah,
percent. You can do something
yeah.
like that, but it's not worth it in my opinion.
Like use them aggressively versus use them like sparingly, but you
Yeah,
never know like what the threshold really is.
yeah,
Yeah, no, I just take all the items off now, and like I take all the items immediately from whatever character comes into my party for that
hmm
world and stuff. Um, but yeah, we can wrap up Kingdom Hearts talk.
yeah,
I guess it's been like the first half
yeah.
of the
The
podcast.
other, I guess, smaller news. Like I'm not gonna have much to say about it. Is Percy Jackson? I guess he was cast. Um, I
Yeah, like you said, the kid from the Adam Project.
yeah, I saw that movie on a plane to Houston, and then on the way back because I didn't finish it there. Um, it was pretty good. I wouldn't say it was like, oh my god, you need to see this movie. This changed my life. But I mean, it got rid of the hour and a half that I need to kill on the plane.
It was definitely good for a Netflix original.
And
I mean, I think they spent a majority of their like concern around graphics instead of like
yeah,
story, but
I
what are
think
you
like
gonna
they
do?
did time travel fine. Like it's still confusing, but
And
like
when will it not be?
yeah. The
No one
only
knows what would
good time
happen if
I'm
it
not gonna say
happened.
only good time travel, but I think Endgame did time travel well. Like I watched that and I was like, I know exactly what the rules of time travel are in this, and I know what will happen if things change, and I know the threat of doing this, and
And then they
that's
led it
really
into and then they used it to lead into how time branches
yeah,
by starting the Loki show by building off of a mistake
yeah,
that happened and made them go even further back to like an actual different plot line. So, what seemed like padding to a runtime was actually like really cool foresight.
yeah.
So, bow down to the master,
Listen,
Kevin Feige.
yeah, Kevin Feige, I love that man.
Feige.
We should get him on the podcast.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, we just
Listen,
started this
yeah,
podcast. We've sometime mentioned Marvel. Like,
Kevin, listen,
get over
me
here.
and you, come on. This is my pitch to you. Let's do this.
Bring the entire cast. Bring every Avenger with you.
Everyone.
By the way, it has to be every Avenger.
The Avengers Assemble scene, I want them right here, right in the back.
Yeah, yeah. You can have all of them. That's fine. It's good enough just to like see it vicariously
Yeah.
through the camera or whatever, or live vicariously through you by seeing it in the camera.
But yeah, so going back, Percy Jackson, I read some of the books. I don't think I ever finished it. And I
I've
read
read all
them,
of Percy Jackson.
I want to say I read
Yeah,
them like middle school, so I probably couldn't tell you much about the plot. And I never saw the movies for sure. I heard they were real
I can tell you
bad.
the movies are trash.
Yeah.
I can tell you the movies are not good. I mean the the actors that were cast were fine, but like they changed the story, which you should
Yeah.
just never do. Major plot points. Like in the first one, the whole of the entire first 5 book series revolves around a prophecy. They don't even mention it in the first movie, and then they try to retcon it back in at the end of the second movie, like out of nowhere, like because they were like, "Oh, people expected us to actually have this in the movie." Well, yeah, of course. I mean, it also toes this weird line where like they're 11 years old, but they're demigods, so they're battle prepped. So like it's like
Mm-hmm.
11-year-olds fighting to the death, which not a lot of people want to see. So obviously they were aged up
Mm-hmm.
to like high school plus, where you go, that's the sweet spot. You know, that's around the age of the Stark children for Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was fine with the casting for the movies, but they changed plot lines, and it seemed like they wanted everyone in that movie too. They got like Rosario Dawson to be Persephone. They got Steve Coogan to be Hades. Sean Bean was Zeus.
That's an awesome
Poseidon was the
casting.
dude. Poseidon was the dude from Grey's Anatomy, not McDreamy, McSteamy, or whatever. I don't know. I never saw it. The
Me
blonde
neither.
haired dude.
I couldn't even picture that.
Yeah, I don't know his name. He's like the one guy I don't know. The Poseidon, the main character's dad.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had Uma Thurman as like Medusa. Like they had huge
Yeah, big
names in
names.
acting in this movie for no reason. Like I don't know. And then of course Alexandra Daddario. So
Oh
that
yeah,
introduced me to her.
that's
So
your hall
it'll
pass.
forever be. Of course. It will forever be like an okay movie on that alone. But otherwise it's trash. And I think they're doing what the Disney Plus is doing, a mini series, right, with this kid. And the
It's
kid
either-
does look 11, and he plays an 11-year-old in the Adam Project, which
Mhm.
is set in 2022 and came out this year. So there's a good chance that he's going to look the part.
Yeah. I don't know if it's
Percy
a
Jackson.
miniseries or a movie, but I want to say miniseries. But either way, so far, most Disney Plus things have been good. I mean, I don't know if it's just because I watch Marvel, but I watched
That's
Turning.
mainly what they've done.
I watched
when
Turning
it comes
Red.
To series.
That was a good movie. I watched Mandalorian. I mean, that's also Star Wars, which is but still great. I think people didn't like Turning Red because they mentioned periods or something, and they're like,
Man, that was like the outspoken minority.
Yeah.
That was like. Oh, this is in a kids movie. It's like, well, yeah, why not just teach them about it, right?
Yeah.
Like, and it's gonna go over their head if they're too young to understand it, and it's
Exactly.
the perfect time
Like there are so
for them to
many
hear about it if they're old enough.
there's so many jokes in like SpongeBob, where I know that's past your time, but that was like my peak time. And I go back and like look up a scene, and there are so many jokes that just flew past my head because I just didn't know anything. And it's
Yeah.
like, they're not gonna know anything if they don't know anything. And if they ask something, then cool, their parents can teach them about it.
Yeah,
Like,
I miss that about cartoons is the adult humor that was always thrown in, that was
Yeah.
like snuck in, like Rocco's modern life.
he called a sex hotline.
He was a sex hotline operator.
Oh yeah.
Like, I mean, like there were like Ren and Stimpy is full of adult
That show
humor.
scared
Pinky and the
me.
Brain.
Like they had like these random pictures of like grotesque, nasty things in that show. I feel like, and
I know, yeah, no, they got really hyper realism,
Yeah.
and it was for disgusting effect. And I'm not a fan of that like now, but I watched the shows and I was fine with it then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Courage I didn't get too into because like the show was fine, and then one of the end credits, like there was like this smiling face that would laugh real creepy, and it scared me every time. So I just never watched the whole show.
Courage was just a weird one for me. I mean, a lot of the shows from that time period were really weird.
Yeah.
They were like basically adult cartoons, but targeted to a younger audience.
Wait, so what was your show that you were like, I'm too old for this, and you stopped watching like kid channels? Because I know what my
Probably
show was.
SpongeBob.
Okay.
Probably SpongeBob. I mean, I watched SpongeBob for a while, but SpongeBob was the first one that really started like annoy me. His voice started to annoy me. Like, but when I like first started watching it, it was fine. Like Patrick was just too dumb.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that's like blasphemous. There are people out there that love SpongeBob, all
Mm-hmm.
like 2,900 seasons of it and stuff. But like, yeah, I don't know. That was the show. That was like the last like show I remember watching. But I mean, I transitioned directly from that into anime.
Oh,
Like it
okay.
was right around then where I stopped watching like the SpongeBob stuff. I started watching Naruto and started getting more into Dragon Ball Z and watching Yu Yu Hakusho like online
Mm-hmm.
because I never finished the series and stuff.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
that was like high school era
I don't
for me.
know. I want to say it was like early high school, late middle school, but I think for Nickelodeon, it was around like iCarly era that I left Nickelodeon, and then
Hmm.
for Disney Channel, I think I watched Wizards of Waverly Place, and then when Hannah Montana started airing, I think I watched a little bit of it, and then that's when I left Disney Channel.
I never watched Wizards.
That's
And
what
what
I
was
w-
it? What was it?
that's the one who got me.
You mentioned iCarly. See, I watched Drake and Josh. That was one of my
Yeah,
last ones. The one that spawned her. Made
but
Miranda
you
Cosgrove a
said,
name.
yeah, you said what's her face from Percy Jackson. What's her name? Your hall pass.
Alexandra Daddario.
Yeah, that's her name. That was me and Selena Gomez. That's why I watched Wizards of Waverly Place. I was like, oh
Well,
my
yeah.
god.
I used to go on this website that was like a blog in college. It was What Would Tyler Durden Do? And Tyler Durden's the guy from Fight Club.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like this guy.
Never
He was
saw it.
hilarious. He was hilarious. It's like one of the main. That's his name. Tyler
Mm-hmm.
Durden is like Brad Pitt's character
Oh, okay.
in that. Um, and it's just a bar of soap that was like WWTDD. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what would Tyler Durden do? And he would just do like entertainment blog post stuff. So you remember like Philip DeFranco,
Mm-hmm.
like kind of like like that kind of stuff. All those news stories. It was almost like Philip DeFranco just read this guy's blog and started using those news stories. Like they would always. I mean, they were breaking news at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But the dude that wrote for that blog, was in love with Selena Gomez. He was like basically every post about her, he was like, "This is how many days until she turns 18."
Oh no, that's bad. That's very bad.
Yeah. I mean, he only did it when she was 17.
Yeah,
But
that's crazy.
it was funny because he was saying like every guy's in love with her. It's just she's just not legal yet.
I was of the age where I was also young. I'm younger than her, so it was okay for me to say it. But that sounds a little sus.
Yeah, I mean it's whatever. I mean this dude, the dude that wrote it, was also at the exact same time dating for like 5 years like a porn
Oh,
star.
oh
So
wow.
I mean, he was a character.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know if it was necessarily his direct opinion. I think it was more so like
The
the
readers.
masses
Yeah.
were in love with her, and so he just kind of ran with that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and everyone's just counting the days until she turns 18. Like when it was her 18th birthday, he had a whole blog post like with a picture, and he was just like, "She's legal." I think that was the title of it.
That's crazy.
I'm
Um.
trying to think like what other shows that might have been around the same era where I stopped. I remember, I mean, I was a die hard. Every month I would watch the Disney Channel original movie.
Oh
I
yeah.
think until they stopped doing them almost.
I
Like
watched the one, the 13th year with the boy in the boy the mermaid. He turned to a merman.
the guy that they used in like 19 of
Mm,
their original
mm-hmm.
movies. He was the
I
Luck of the
watched.
Irish and he
Yeah,
was in Smart House.
both of those were good. I liked all three
Johnny
Xenons. I
Tsunami.
think. I
Johnny
that was
Tsunami,
before
obviously.
my time. I think.
Xenon was before Johnny Tsunami, I think.
Was it? I
They
don't know.
replayed them over and over
I
again,
feel
yeah.
like whenever I saw
They're
that
all on
one,
Disney Plus
I
now.
don't know. Maybe I just saw a girl and I was like, yeah. But when I saw Johnny Tsunami, I was like, I'm not into surfing. And then I saw Xenon and I was like, yeah.
Yeah. That's probably it. I mean, let's see. Like, if I had to pick some of my favorites, I think Smart House is one I would always watch if I saw it on. I thought Smart House was awesome.
Mhm.
It just seems so cool. I don't know why. I did like Luck of the Irish. 13th Year was like one of my mediocre run in the middle ranking ones probably.
Mhm.
to be honest. I loved, loved Halloween Town, the first one. I
That's the
absolutely
one with
love
the
that one.
girl becoming like she like right. That's the one with the main girl, not the three witches, right?
You're thinking of Hocus
Yeah,
Pocus,
yeah,
which was
yeah.
not
I'm
an
with
original,
you.
which was an original
No,
movie.
yeah, yeah. I'm
But yeah,
with you. How the
Halloween
three?
Town.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Those ones were
She has
banging.
her grandma,
Mm-hmm.
and her actual name is Marnie or
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
I remember. That was one of my favorites. I like one, two, and three were okay. Three was better than two.
Mm-hmm.
But or the original one was the best one. Phantom of the Cineplex.
Never
My
saw
mom's
that
on a
one.
date with a vampire. My
That
mom's
one
on a
I
date with
like
a
that one.
vampire. I think had Scarlett Johansson. I
Really?
want to say. I think that she was the daughter in that. Maybe
That's crazy.
whoever was the daughter in that is actually someone pretty famous now. I think. And I was
Interesting.
also a big fan of Under Wraps, where the kids are like with the mummy.
I want to say I
The
saw
mummy comes back to life.
yeah commercials, but I don't think I watched that one.
That one was the only scene I specifically really remember is one, he really loved the one song because there was like a female mummy that he was in love with, but like the guy was crushing on the girl,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just so funny for their interactions because they were biking somewhere, and he was like, what took you so long to get out? And she was like, well, I was asleep. And he was like, yeah, so was I. So what? And she was like, well, I sleep naked. And then he just fell off his bike.
That's awesome.
And that was in a Disney Channel original movie, like teenagers and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think if there were any other ones. I like Johnny. I mean, I basically, if there was an original Disney Channel original movie on,
Were you
I would just
past
watch it.
like the you're I don't know, yeah, this was probably past the Disney Channel games.
What was that?
They got like all the actors from all the shows, and they had like a bunch of challenges, like physical challenges, where they would like think of like a wipeout almost, but like not, but like those
Oh
esque
no,
challenges.
I never even knew that show existed. That would have been
I
cool to
love
watch,
that.
probably.
You got like Wizards of Waverly Place cast. You got like High School Musical cast, Sweet Life of Zach and Cody cast. All of them.
I watched a little bit of Sweet Life and Zack and
I
Cody
like that
too.
one a lot. Yeah,
That one was good. Brenda Song and Ashley Tisdale in it.
yeah.
And I want to say that whenever like High School Musical came out, that was around when I stopped watching because that was an original movie too. I think
Oh,
that
was
was
it?
like the original one was I think the one of the last Disney Channel original movies I watched.
One and two
I
are
think
good.
three came out in
Three is
theaters, but
stupid.
one and two, I think one and two were like an original movie.
Yeah,
I thought three came out in theaters or something.
it did for sure. Because I know people who went to theater to go see it in like my
Yeah,
middle school or high school.
it became like a phenomenon, I
Yeah.
guess. All this spawned from Percy Jackson, though. I guess we should get back to it. Percy Jackson is really cool. If you don't know the series, it's about like demigods but set in real time. So basically, the story is the pantheon of gods. All of the it's the author is Rick Riordan, and he does a lot of ancient mythology based around gods. Basically, in his world, all of the ancient mythologies they're all legitimate. Like every mythology existed, all the gods existed, and his like big rule is that everything happens in a cycle when it comes to like godly stories. So everything that happened like 5,000 or whatever 10,000 years ago in Greece, that's going to re-happen, but in modern times. And like the gods kind of adopt. They move to the center of power in the world, which of course he's an American author. The center of power is New York City in America.
Mm-hmm.
So like Mount Olympus is the top of the Empire State Building as an example. But it's about the gods' children. they're still horny as fuck basically, and they have kids left and right because they don't even have to like actually have sex with somebody to have a kid. They can just like really picture themselves loving this person, and
It's
then
like the
boom, there's
midichlorians.
Anakin Skywalker, the Jesus story. So like immaculate conception of whatever. Because I mean, I remember Athena was a headache that Zeus had, and he
Mm-hmm.
chopped off like that part of his head, and bam, out popped his daughter
Mm-hmm.
Athena. You know, so it goes based on that. You follow Percy Jackson; he's a son of Poseidon. There's a big prophecy that revolves around like one of the children of the big three, which is the three brothers, which are the kings, were the leaders of the gods, even though they're not necessarily the oldest. Zeus, who's basically the youngest, because he was the last one born to Gaia that she made sure that he survived and came back to kill the Titans who were originally the masters of the earth. And he chopped all of his fully grown brothers and sisters out of his dad's stomach because they're immortals, so they can't actually die. So he ate them, but they were just living in his stomach, growing up for years. They were fully armored. all this like crazy mythological story stuff. But it's child of the big three, which the big three are Poseidon, Zeus, and Hades. They're the three brothers that control the sky, the seas, and the earth. Will is part of some great catastrophe. They'll bring upon a catastrophe, and maybe they'll be able to save us from it. And that's the first 5 books. So if they're doing a mini series with Percy Jackson, I imagine they'll probably do like 1 book per season, or maybe even a little bit more. I mean, they're short books initially. And then it goes beyond that, and eventually it introduces the Roman side, because the Romans became the seat of power, so the gods moved over there and they became more stern. Like when I was saying, they adopt your personality. So like Zeus sits around and watches daytime television all the time. That's like one of his like pastimes. When they moved to Rome, they became way more strict and family oriented and whatever, and so they were less about drinking wine and just having crazy sex, and they were more about being very strict in their like war and having crazy sex. So because there's demigods left and right everywhere. So I'm looking forward to the series because it's one of my favorite book series. Like I love give me a young adult fiction book and I'll read it cover to cover probably. If it involves magic and involves ancient mythology, if there are dragons involved, obviously. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it's a good casting.
And isn't it like all of his books are one universe? Like isn't
I mean, yeah. You can see. I wonder. That's why I was saying like all the mythologies are real. Like they exist at the same time. They just have slightly off put like centers. So like there's a series that he does for ancient Egypt also, and like in that book, the kids that are like the demigod version of ancient Egypt. It's one of my least favorite ancient mythology, so I don't know as much about it. But I did read the trilogy. They see some Pegasus flying around over like New York, and then they point to their like they ask their like guardian, "Oh, what's that?" And he goes, "Oh, don't worry about that. That's a different pantheon or whatever." So like basically, he's saying that they exist, and also.
And isn't like the girl from Percy Jackson the cousin of
Annabeth.
one? Yeah, she's the cousin.
That's what I was about to say. Annabeth Chase is the cousin of Magnus Chase, who is the main character from his Norse mythology series, which I have. That's the one that I haven't finished yet. I read the first 3 books. I think that he finished the series though. I just have to read it.
Well, you can learn more about Egyptian gods in Moon Knight. They talk about.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I have yet to watch episode 1, so
I think 3 is coming out at the time of recording, but 1 and 2 are good.
Yeah, I think I didn't watch 2 yet either.
I think 1 is my favorite of the episode 1 for Disney Plus shows. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I love Oscar Isaac.
Oh yeah, I think he's
a
like
great actor.
Like my God.
I mean, Disney is using him to the fullest. He's in Star Wars. I don't think that Disney really owns this, but he was in Dune. And now he's in Marvel, and he was also already Apocalypse in X-Men, so he could be both. He could be Moon Knight and Apocalypse. I mean, Apocalypse is heavy on makeup, so why not?
Yeah, I hope. I don't know like what the laws are with all these TV shows. Well, I don't think so, because spoilers for WandaVision and I guess a Doctor Strange trailer. But so we know that the kids are gonna be in the movie. Because I was gonna say, I really hope that like Moon Knight is like he shows up in a film one day. I think that'd be really cool. Like maybe
I think they're moving in that direction.
Maybe like a team up with Blade or something. I heard they team up in the comics. That could be cool. Also, the actor for Blade, I don't know much about him, but people love him. I think he was, what's that movie? Moon Knight? No, Moonlight, I think. I never saw it.
Moonlight, yeah, like an Oscar, Oscar-winning movie. I never saw that either. If it's on the Oscars Best Picture, I probably don't watch it. I don't watch Oscar bait. I mean, it's all these dramas that are like forwarding the craft of cinema. Give me something fun to watch.
I want big explosion and girl.
Yeah, not necessarily in that order.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm trying to think like what else Oscar Isaac has been in that like he like
I don't think I knew him before Poe.
I saw the picture though, because there's a picture of him and it's Moon Knight's picture, and it's all about his like he has like a split personality basically, and it's just all his other roles. So there's Poe Dameron standing next to him, and then there's Apocalypse way in the back and stuff. So I was trying to picture that image so that I could think of what else there was. Because I remember there's Duke Leto from Dune. There's one, I'm sure of it. There's one that I'm not remembering, but
I think that was my favorite part of Dune.
Actor.
Was him.
Was Duke Leto
Oh yeah,
being there?
when he bit
Duke
the
Leto
thing,
Atreides. Yeah,
that was so cool.
he he was a good one. He was like, I was surprised to see him with the beard
Hmm.
because I've never seen Poe Dameron with a beard. But man, I don't know. Something about Oscar Isaac just makes me want to watch the movie, I
Hmm.
guess. He'll one day he'll transition from like being awesome into being like Oscar bait movies, and then he'll win an Oscar, and then hopefully he comes back, and does cool movies again.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. So the only other thing that I can think of was that new segment that I pitched,
Oh
where it's like
yes.
the convince me one.
Welcome to
So I
convince me.
thought, yeah, so I thought of this, and because we do this already to each other, like why not do it on the podcast? So I'm calling it convince me, and basically it's going to be one of us is pitching basically to the other person, but it's a pitch for everyone. Like, come up with your best elevator pitch for some news, some series that you've read. It could be anything, a movie. It doesn't have to even be a series. It could be like a movie that you don't think the other person will necessarily go watch on their own.
Hmm.
So, like, as an example of one that already worked, Vince actually pitched to me an anime called Haikyuu, which is a volleyball anime, and I immediately said no, I'm not going to watch it. I don't watch sports anime. Like, one of my favorite sports is tennis to play, and I never watched a single episode of Prince of Tennis. So I was like, no, I don't think it's very interesting. I play volleyball. I don't think I'm going to enjoy watching the anime version of it. And he was like, no, no, no. And he pitched out like how they go through the techniques and stuff, and you like actually could learn from it. I was like, well, that's kind of interesting, but still it's a sports anime. And then he like basically laid down a commandment of just watch like the first episode or two and tell me if you're going to like it or not.
Hmm.
And then I ended up marathoning the whole series because obviously I fell in love with it. So for me, I'm actually going to be pitching a manga that I picked up, and it's called Kaiju number 8. And I've been seeing it in the Shonen Jump, the Viz Media app. Like every single week, I log in to read like Jujutsu Kaisen and One Piece and stuff. And everywhere in like the hottest releases, Kaiju number 8's always there. And I was always thinking to myself, like, why don't I just watch? Why don't I just click on it and see? And I finally read a few issues, and I was like hooked immediately. Like I mean, that's how it happens with me. I just fall in love with stuff immediately.
Hmm.
So my pitch really is like, you're imagine a world, imagine like One Punch Man, how they have all these big monsters that always emerge and stuff,
Hmm.
but there is no One Punch Man to deal with them. So there is no like amazing god of humanity that's just keeping all the monsters at bay. And these monsters are called kaiju because I guess that's like the word for monster in Japan or
Yeah,
something,
that
because that's in a
like
ton of media.
yeah, Godzilla is like a kaiju.
Yeah. So imagine a world where this happens and our main character is like the unsung champion, where, and I mean, this is how it starts, right? So the unsung champion, where there are these huge, like building size monsters, multiple building size monsters, they die, and then the people that kill them, they peace out, right? What are you gonna do with all those body parts? So we're in the cleanup crew,
Hmm.
where the guy has to walk in through the intestines and power wash all of the kaiju poop out and stuff. It's a big censored panel
Hmm.
in the manga. So it starts with that. He had hopes of joining like the actual like kaiju, destruction squad.
Hmm.
There goes Zeus. Um, but he basically like ended up being a quitter. But when he puts his mind to stuff, he gets it done. And he has a new rookie that comes on because he's just doing like some work study because he wants to understand kaiju better, because the cleanup crews actually are like the people that write the books on like how they evolve and what
Hmm.
their organs do and stuff, and the humanity is using their bodies to strengthen their suits and like get special powers and special like rejuvenations and stuff like that. um and of course they run into a live kaiju that comes and like attacks them, and they fight it off, like just barely surviving. They end up in the hospital. Like this rescue squad actually comes and saves them. um and then so kaiju number 8 is, there's like this little thing that while they're in the hospital flies into the main character's mouth, and he turns into a kaiju, but
Oh
like a
frick.
humanoid one.
Hmm.
So then it's like the story evolves from there of like, how does he control his powers, like what's happening to him. It's only about 50 or so issues in, but like I literally could not stop reading it. Like I read like the first like 20, and then I was like, all right, I'll take a break. And then last night after I put Zeus in the crate, I just finished the whole thing. I mean, I had read more before then, but I basically finished it last night over the course of like another 30 minutes of power reading through the whole thing.
So power wise,
Um,
he's Attack on Titan, Aaron Yeager. I know you haven't watched it, but from
I
what
haven't
you know.
watched none of it. I would say yes. They go by like a fortitude scale,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't know, that he's like a human that can turn into a kaiju. So they've encountered him, and his fortitude on a scale of 1 to 10 is 9.8.
Oh damn.
So he's like kind of like One Punch Man, but over the course of the series, you're gonna see there are other humanoid kaiju's
Mm-hmm.
that don't necessarily start as humans, or we don't know. At least I don't know yet. No one knows. Maybe the creator doesn't even know. Who knows? Um, and they're all like on this. They call them Dai Kaiju. Like
Mm-hmm.
they're like if they're on like a 9 or above, they get a special number. That's why he's number 8. So
Oh
they've
okay.
had 7 other kaiju, and we're talking about like they're saying that the kaiju have existed since for like most of time. Like they used to fight them off with swords. The
Mm-hmm.
kaiju evolved. They evolved. Like now they use guns mostly. Um, and like the world that they've built up, and the main character, like his like just do goodness, his like dogged like desire to help people. Uh, and then you have like the guy that was his like little like the rookie
Mm-hmm.
tries to join him. So like he tries to end up joining the defense force, but as a human,
Mm-hmm.
and like I'm not gonna give spoilers away, but I mean, just he does make it, but it's like almost like on a technicality, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So he does make it in. He just makes it in at the very bottom rung though, cadet. Like he's basically like one of the people's like personal assistants,
Mm-hmm.
and then he has to work his way up from there. So it is similar to One Punch Man in that regard, where Saitama is like
Yeah.
this god, and he starts just like class C, whereas
Mm-hmm.
the guy that is his disciple is a class S right away from the start.
Yeah.
And the only other thing that's like it's not really spoilers because in the first issue is like the number one kaiju killer is this dude's childhood friend, and his life goal is to get back up to stand by her side because he's older and he promised her he'd always protect her, and then he
Mm-hmm.
just failed.
Oh okay.
So it's like almost like a redemption story where he has to like win his way up to
Mm-hmm.
fight by her side, and then again stand in like her presence and whatever.
All right. I
Um,
think I'll check it out.
Yeah, and the artwork and the artwork is actually pretty good. I think that you'll appreciate, especially like the way that the panels shift together
Oh yeah,
and stuff.
that's a
Some of the
big thing for
actions that
me.
you see,
Yeah.
like you'll see like all of a sudden like someone's like getting kicked like off to the side, and then you see like in the panel to the other side like the kick
Mm-hmm.
happened to kick him out of the way. And the artwork that goes into the actual kaiju is pretty cool, especially like the humanoid ones.
Yeah.
I think that you'll appreciate. He maybe not on the level of My Hero,
Mm-hmm.
with like that level of detail, maybe not yet, but they do like every 3 releases they take like a quick break, but the author releases 4 color panels
Oh,
of like new artwork of
that's
them,
cool.
like just kind of like chilling or relaxing or doing whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So and then he'll end with like a next issue is coming whenever it'll start up again. So every like 3 issues there's like a break of a week or 2 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, the story is like super fresh. I find it borderline impossible that this does not get an anime adaptation.
Oh, if it says like, I think it just depends on like numbers, but I assume if it's on the top of Shonen Jump, it's got the numbers.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for that panel to come. And I can't remember like how far in. Wasn't it like 100 issues into My Hero that it got an anime
Yeah,
adaptation
something
or
like
something? It
that.
was like
Yeah.
pretty far in, I feel
Mm-hmm.
like. So I mean, this is probably it's definitely got enough content for one season already.
Yeah, I think
I just
20
don't. They're
or
probably gonna
50
want to avoid
chapters
a
is
One
easy.
Punch Man
Yeah.
where they have to like take this long ass break between seasons
Yeah.
because it takes a while to release the actual like original content.
Yeah. Once I'm done with One Piece, or maybe I'll take a break at the time skip. I'll check it out. We'll see. Because
It's such a quick read to catch
yeah.
up. It
I'm
really is.
on I'm about to start Impel Down, so I'm getting there in One
Yeah, no, I'm
Piece.
excited because by episode 3 of this podcast, maybe episode 4, you'll be ready to talk some serious spoilers about One Piece
Yep.
because
I
the
already
issue that
know
came out this
them.
week
Or like
again,
I know
super
I
amazing.
know the big ones, but like I'm sure like I don't know everything. So
Yeah, this one wasn't as like crazy on revelations this week's One Piece, but it was still cool because there's still like a pretty big fight going on, so you get to see that while other stuff is happening.
hmm
You
yeah, and
know,
I heard the anime's finally coming back. This whole Toei
that was
hack.
supposed to come back this week, but I didn't see a new one yesterday.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I all I know is that like I don't know what the hack did. Like like what did they hack that delayed episodes? I don't think they like hacked it and stole the final episodes.
Yeah, and I mean, even if they did that, like, who would even care?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, how far ahead could the leaks have been? Like, not very far, I
Yeah.
imagine.
I don't know, like,
So I
yeah.
would love to know also,
Also, if
unless they
anyone's
like shut down for security reasons,
yeah.
maybe like for like to protect their employees. I don't know.
I think this is the third time. I don't know how to get it to stop my Discord sound. So next podcast I'll have it fixed. But I've had 3 Discord sounds pop up this podcast.
Oh, I've
Oh,
had
there's
one,
4.
but I
Okay,
mean,
yeah. Well, they
can't
can't
hear
hear
me.
yours, yeah, but they hear mine, I
Yeah,
think. So
yeah, probably. I mean,
don't. It's not yours. It's me. If you're listening, I'll fix it.
you can just put it. You can just. I'm surprised.
Well, I tried to
Aren't you
mute
recording this with OBS?
Yeah, I tried to mute Discord at one point,
Why
but it
doesn't it
muted
go into
you.
streamer mode? Doesn't it go to streamer mode automatically?
Yeah, but then at the top of our recording, it would say like OBS is in streamer mode, and the only way to get rid of that is to disable it.
Oh, I got you. I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can just mute the
I
sounds,
think I muted it,
like
but
mute
we'll see. Yeah.
notifications.
I tried to mute it earlier, and then mid conversation it muted you, but I unmuted that quick.
I've done it on basically all of my computers. I muted it on my personal one. I haven't, but I install it on all my work computers that I've ever had, and I always mute all notifications on my work computers because I don't want them popping up if I'm sharing my screen. Because like people will send like whatever. One of my buddies at my last job would give trainings, and he would never like mute his Facebook because we were like a vendor for Facebook, so we had to use it. And so randomly in the middle of trainings, I would just write poop in a message to him and like put it in big letters, like there would just be poop would pop up into this presentation, and he would start laughing. Everyone would start laughing. It was just like internal people.
Yeah.
Like I would never do it if it was like if he was on the phone with a client or something, but it was just so funny because it would throw him off. He'd be on like this groove, and then he would see poop pop up, and he would just start laughing. And it would take him a while to compose himself and get back into the training or whatever he was doing.
That's awesome.
So I've learned that lesson. Like every chat program I have on my work computer has muted notifications. So
yeah,
there's probably an easy way to do it.
Yeah, I just have Discord and Slack on my work computer, but Slack I leave open, and Discord I mute if I'm in a meeting, basically.
But yeah, one of the other things that annoys me is it always pops in that bottom right hand corner, and like it blocks stuff that I'm typing in or trying to click. And then like if people are messaging me a lot, I'm like, it's a race to see if I can exit out and then click something fast enough. Otherwise, I end up clicking that thing and it opens up the program. And all of a sudden, I'm in Discord. I'm like, no, and now I have to minimize Discord again, and then I got to click a million more X's and try to click something in the bottom right hand corner of my screen.
Yeah, because we're both guilty of this. Instead of sending one paragraph, we'll send like 17 different messages.
Yeah, every sentence in this entire podcast of this conversation would have been a new hit enter at every, and maybe not even then. Sometimes it's like every comma, just hit enter over and over again.
Exactly.
Come back to like miss like 14 messages from each other, and it was just like one lull in the conversation that they're like to wait for a reply. I think tons of people are guilty of that now, though. Because no one wants to write a whole paragraph and then mess something up and then have to delete all of it.
Some dude at work gets so annoyed at that. So with him specifically, I type normal. But like, there's this one guy who types like that, and he'll message me about. So person A will message me about person B who types like that, and he'll be like, "That dude's a loose cannon. I can't talk to him."
Yeah, he's a wild character. He's a wild card right there.
Yeah.
No, like when we go back to the office, watch him. There's something off about that guy.
Listen, I don't know. I don't know if Office will ever be normal again. I've been home for 2 years.
Yeah, me too. I think they like my company wants to do hybrid, but they also sent out a new survey about what people would prefer. And I was saying hybrid at first because it was inevitable. Like they were saying that there was definitely no way we'd do fully remote. But now this survey basically said like, all right, like what would you prefer? And I just put fully remote. If we have to go back to the office, let me come in on times that aren't rush hour traffic, so I'm not standing on like a train with 9,000 people like breathing all over my mouth. You know?
Yeah,
like,
I think
I don't need to go into the office to be productive.
Yeah, companies just learn that like people can do their shit at home. So.
Like, and the overhead you save on not having a big physical location that you rent in like Chicago or New York City or LA or San Francisco or whatever, like you must save like tens of millions of dollars in rent for that kind of office space and stuff.
And we went back a couple times for like we went like hybrid for like a week. I feel like I think like in this 2-year time period, I think I went maybe like once or twice, and every time I went, you start to get notifications. Oh, someone with COVID has entered the building. Someone with COVID has
Yeah.
entered the building, and it's like, there's no point
That
to
happened
going
to
in
my
then.
girlfriend. She went in, they started going back in, and then like 2 weeks in now, they got an email that was like, yeah, someone, you may have been exposed to COVID. You were
Yep.
exposed to this person. I have not gone in to the office in the entire 2 years. I've gone into New York City, like to go to shows and stuff, like personal stuff, but I haven't
Mm-hmm.
gone back to the office. I haven't needed it.
Yeah.
Luckily, my computer still works. That's like the one thing I'd have to physically
Oh
go
yeah,
in for is like
mine
actually
blew up.
change out my computer. Yeah, you had to go in to get a new one, right?
Yeah.
Did they
Well,
mail it to
we
you?
have two offices, so I had to go in to give my old one back, but they shipped me the new one.
Yeah. I mean, hey, it gives me like on your break now, you can just unabashedly watch like an episode of anime or
Oh yeah,
something.
like I'll just
You don't
pull
have
up
to
Final
sit in the
Fantasy
corner
14.
on your
Yeah.
phone. Yeah, you don't have to sit in the corner on your phone and like feel ashamed if someone walks over to talk about work,
Mm-hmm.
and you're like, excuse me, I'm busy, I'm on break. What are you doing? I'm watching anime. Leave me alone."
That's happened many a times. Because people like
Yeah,
to
for
play
me,
like games at
for
work,
me
and like
too.
that's fine. And sometimes I'll play a game, but like during lunch, usually I'll just watch a show, and they'll be like, "Why don't you like us?" I'll be like, "Y'all are cool. I'm just watching anime."
Yeah. Yeah, I would sit at my desk and I would have like YouTube on my phone, like sitting in front of me on the stand charger.
Mm-hmm.
And I would just be listening to it in my wireless earbuds, and then that's all I would be listening to, and I'd be doing work. But like other people at work, you could like it was open floor space, so like people would always be minimizing stuff anytime they saw someone walking near
Mm-hmm.
them. So you know that everyone is like watching Twitch, watching YouTube, like watching Netflix because you can log in on a computer.
Yep.
People don't remember that. You can log into Netflix or Hulu on a computer and just watch it on your computer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like there's almost nothing blocked. I don't know about for you, but for me, since we work in advertising, since ads can be on any kind of website, like nothing is blocked for
Yeah.
us. So we can go on literally anything. The only thing we can't do is we can install Steam and we can download games, but it won't run. It'll
Oh.
block a game from running. And we're trying to do like team happy hours
Mm-hmm.
that involve like Jackbox games and stuff. And I was trying to run it and it wouldn't work. And I went to IT and the guy's like, yeah, there's no way around that. And I was like, you can't disable that at all. This is for a work like happy hour thing. He's like, yeah, no, you can ask your manager, but I'm pretty sure that they'd just tell her no too.
Dang.
And I was like, oh, okay. So I guess I just use my son since like I'm home, I just use my personal computer.
Yeah.
And then I just log into Zoom via that. And I host it. But yeah.
Yeah, we're at
I
about
think
an
that kind of
hour.
wraps it up.
Yeah.
I mean, and just in case people are wondering, the first two things that we talked about were the big titties of the week: the
Oh,
Kingdom
yeah.
Hearts and the Percy Jackson
Yeah, we
casting.
didn't announce that they were the big titties, but they were the big titties.
Yeah, they were the goods.
Yeah.
I mean, everything we talk about is probably gonna be good, unless we specifically say like, "I hate this."
Yeah.
But yeah.
So that's gonna do it for this week.
Yeah.
Thanks everyone for listening. I don't really know like what we do for the outro. I guess like rate us 5 stars if that's a thing on the app that you're listening to. Like it if you're on YouTube. Maybe put it on in the back. If you've already listened to the podcast, this is what you should do. You watch it on YouTube. Listen to it on Spotify. Just leave it on in the background. That'll get us some listens. That'll help the analytics.
Yeah, or whatever Stitcher, whatever program we can actually publish to.
Yeah.
We still have to. We haven't done it yet, so we still got to look into that.
Yeah.
And then also, yeah, like comment on wherever you can if you have topics, feedback, or thoughts about anything we talked about. And I was gonna say one more thing, and I forgot. So fantastic.
I guess that's it then.
I guess that's it then. Oh, share it. Share it to other people.
Oh
if you think
yes,
they'd be interested.
spread this because we don't know how to do that. I don't know like how you
Yeah.
advertise a podcast. I've went on like podcast sharing subreddits. They look so dead.
Yeah, I don't even say like, oh, click the subscribe button like on YouTube, and if someone follows on Twitch, I just say thank you. I don't ever say anything. I'm never like, oh, by the way, you have Twitch Prime. Yeah,
I do
like,
that sometimes
it just
for a
feels
joke.
weird.
Like if
Yeah,
I was
but it's a
big, I would
joke.
do it, but as at this size,
that's
I'm
the thing.
just like, yeah.
That's the weird like cycle that it's in though. Like if you're big, you don't need to do it because people are going to do it for you, but they're the only people that feel comfortable doing it.
Yeah.
Like if you're small, you're the ones that got to be like, hey, spread the word. Like, why don't you tell someone else that you know to watch me because you think I'm hilarious and handsome?
Yeah.
I mean, for him, not for me, obviously, just for Vince.
Obviously.
He gets by.
I think one of my favorite Twitch Prime like plugs was I was watching this one streamer and he was playing Pokemon, and it was like one of those Braille sections of like Emerald, I think. And he was like, I actually know Braille. Hang on. And he's like sitting there for like 2 minutes. Actually, like I'm thinking he's deciphering this. And he's like, it says subscribe with Twitch Prime.
That's so weird. That's good. If it can be organic and funny like that, I would maybe do it, but I don't know. I
Yeah.
can never think of it in the
I'm
moment.
not good at improv.
Yeah.
All I know is
Yeah.
yes and.
Oh. Yeah, I guess we'll just get better at it over time.
Yeah.
But yes, let's call it.
All right.
Let's
Thanks
wrap
everyone.
it up.
You heard it. You didn't hear it here first. You didn't hear it here last. You heard it here eventually.
Eventually.
Later.